Hi class, welcome to Chem 151 online at Johnston Community College. My name is Rachel Davis. You can call me Mrs. Davis and I'll be your instructor for this semester. A little bit about myself. I am a two-time NC State alum. I have a degree in polymer color chemistry and a master's degree in textile chemistry. I've been here at JCC since 2011. A little bit of trivia, I have 3 young children, and in my off time I like creative pursuits. I like to paint and I like to write creatively. I also like gardening and cooking. And I am the lead chemistry instructor here at Johnston Community College. So for this class is all online, so I'm going to switch over to the screencast and start telling you about the class a little bit, what I expect from you and what you can expect from me, and how we can all have a successful semester. So let's go ahead and switch over to the screencast. So you are in Chem 151, which is General Chemistry 1. This is the accredited class that is the equivalent of a General Chemistry 1 class at a 4-year institution. This is 4 credit hours and 6 contact hours, which means that if you were in a fully seated class, you would be physically in front of me for 6 hours every week. Usually that's in 2 hour-and-a-half long lecture sessions and 1 3-hour-long lab sessions, plus all the time outside of class spent preparing for class, reading through the chapters, doing your homework, writing up lab reports, and such. So for a class like this, expect to spend at least 1 hour a week outside of class for every hour in class. So if you were taking this fully seated, expect about 12 to 15 hours worth of between class and in class and out of class work. Since you're doing this all online in your own time, you're going to have to be learning on your own and doing your labs completely by yourself. Definitely expect to put in at least 12 hours a week into this class. And so that certainly can't be done all in one day. Historically, I've seen students who only log on once or twice a week onto Blackboard tend not to be as successful as those who log on more frequently and spend more time in the class online doing work. So this is the spring semester. The last day to drop without a grade penalty is March 26th. If you drop yourself before this date, you must let me know, and you will just get a WD on your transcript, which doesn't affect your GPA. It just means you withdrew yourself from the class. However, if you stop attending the class and I have to drop you, then it's a WF, which hurts your GPA. And I'll go over that more in detail when we get to the syllabus. So how to contact me. I'm going to be posting on Blackboard my course schedule, so anytime after I teach one of my seated classes, you're welcome to stop by the classroom, and I'll usually be in there right afterwards. You can always email me for an online class. That's usually the quickest and easiest way to get a hold of me. My phone number, that's my office number. If I'm not in my office, however, I may be in the lab. Some of my office hours I spend in the lab. And then my office hours are Mondays and Wednesdays from 9:30 to 11 and Thursdays from 1 to 3. So those are times I'm either in my office or I'm holding office hours in the lab. And so my office is F110C in the health building, and the lab is F202 also in the health building just upstairs. So what will you need for this class? First of all, textbook options. If you log on to JCC's bookstore website, you'll see a couple of different textbook options, including the lab kit. So let's go to that real quick. So here we are on the bookstore website. You're going to click Shop Textbooks, find our department's Chemistry 151, and you guys are section I2. Find materials. So here are your options. 2 are listed as required, 1 is recommended, but the way this really works is that the first option that says required is Connect Plus access for 2 semesters. So this is the Connect access code for your textbook. It includes an ebook and access to the software, which you'll be doing all your homework and tests through. This is required. However, down here, the recommended package, which is a little more expensive, is the same thing, but it does include a loose leaf version of your textbook for those of you who really prefer to have a physical textbook. So really, you can pick either this first option or this last option for your textbook. Both of them will have the required material in it. Now, if you do pick the less expensive option that only includes the ebook, and later on during the semester decide you really do feel like you really wanted a physical book, you can always contact the manufacturer and they'd be happy to send you a printed off copy of the textbook for a very steeply discounted price since you already have the ebook. Now, this is good for 2 semesters, so if you go on to take Chem 152 next semester, we do use the same textbook, so there'll be nothing new to purchase. The other required material is the Chem 151 Kit 4144. Now, this is by eScience. It is a custom kit, so it is only available through our bookstore at JCC. You cannot buy this custom kit anywhere else. That is because it is custom made to line up with our course as far as the materials we cover and our required student learning outcomes. So that is required. You are welcome to go in with a lab partner and split the cost of a kit, but you will be able to, you need to both be present for all of the experiments because the kit only contains enough materials for each experiment to be done once. You will also, just a reminder, if you are working with a lab partner, you will still need to turn in separate work, and it should not be photocopies of each other. So you can do the experiments together, your data will be the same, but I expect you guys to have different lab reports. All right, so back to the only other material you'll need is a scientific calculator. Now, I've listed a couple of different calculators down here. That's just a stock image. You do not need to have a graphing calculator. What I always recommend my students is they use whatever scientific calculator you are most comfortable with. You will need to be able to go in and out of scientific notation in this class. We'll be dealing with very, very large numbers, like how many molecules are in a cup of water, or very, very small numbers, like how many grams does that atom weigh. So you need to be very comfortable with going in and out of scientific notation with whatever calculator you choose to use. So for the rest of this, we're going to go over to the syllabus for the grading scheme and attendance. I'm not going to read the syllabus word for word because that would make this video too long. So I'm just going to go over the main points where students tend to have trouble. So here is your syllabus that you can download off of Blackboard. So some of this information we've already gone over. I'm not going to read through everything, but I've listed what the student learning outcomes are for each chapter. We will cover the first 10 chapters of our textbook. Then in Chem 152, we'll cover the next 10 chapters. So general course overview, evaluation. So 40% of your grade comes from your tests. Now, tests are given online, they are given through Connect, and they are timed. There's no way to pause the timer once you start it. And so even though it is technically open book, open notes because you're taking this at home, because of that timer, if you haven't done a good job studying for this test, you will not be able to complete all the questions in time. So make sure that you will have that textbook there as a reference, but if you have to stop and look up, have to do each question, you'll run out of time. So make sure you know how to do all of the problems before you start the test. And I do provide study guides so you know what kind of problems to practice. 20% of your grade comes from a cumulative final exam that will be given the last week of class and will cover all 10 chapters. 15% will be given by quizzes, homework, and participation. And then 25% will be your lab. So that lab kit, again, is required and it is a quarter of your grade. We are on a 10-point grading scale, so 90 to 100 is an A, etc. All of your homework and tests are automatically graded and you get feedback immediately on that. Lab reports, however, are manually graded by me. I make every effort to do that and get it back within 2 weeks, and you will see your grades always on Blackboard, and you will also see any feedback. So if you have any points taken off of a lab report, there will be feedback available on Blackboard about why. If you have any questions about that, please email me. Attendance. So this is a big one for online classes because I have a lot of students who don't understand the attendance policy and end up getting dropped from the class and getting a grade of F. You must attend class by completing online assignments. Since you're not physically going to be in front of me, I counted you as present not by just clicking into Blackboard, but you have to actually submit something in order to be counted as attending. So first of all, you must attend by the census date for this class. That's January 16th. So you must complete at least one assignment, preferably at least the enrollment verification quiz by the census date, but on the 14th you have a bunch of homework due. So if you haven't done anything by the 16th, then you're already behind as far as your grade. You have to attend every week. If you miss 2 weeks, you will be dropped. Now, this does not have to be consecutive. If you go a week without submitting anything, and then 3 weeks later you go another week without submitting anything, even if it's before the drop date, you will get dropped with a WF. You do have the right to request a reinstatement at that point, but that generally is only granted in cases of extenuating circumstances that caused you to miss that time. So make sure that you attend. If you are planning on withdrawing from the class, let me know as soon as possible so that you don't end up with that grade of WF. General policies for the syllabus can also be found on Blackboard, and you can read through that on your own. If you have any questions about anything, please let me know. And in the next video, I'll talk about Blackboard and how to find all of your coursework on Blackboard.